Okay, let's get into this. We've all seen stories about, unimaginable wealth, the mansions, the jets.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when that wealth is used not for luxury, but as a kind of surgical weapon? That's
Yeah.
what we're diving into today. A really fascinating piece of analysis centered on this scenario. A powerful family offers $10 million.
A staggering amount.
Right. And it's framed specifically as a consulting payout with just one job requirement.
Yeah.
You permanently disappear.
And that concept right there, the financialization of these messy human problems, that's the dark satirical core we pulled from our sources.
Exactly.
So our mission here is to really dissect this transaction, what the analysis calls the offer, not just as a plot device, but as a window into how extreme wealth can work morality.
It bends reality.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And it sets up this incredible conflict between, human dignity on one side and this overwhelming financial opportunity on the other.
And the whole high-stakes chess match kicks off with the players. You've got the Hartwell family, who seem to operate under this belief that any problem, literally any problem, can be solved if you just throw enough money at it.
And their problem is their son.
Their heir, yeah. He's in love with a woman, Leah Ramos, who they've decided is, well, unacceptable for the dynasty. So $10 million, that's the fee to just excise her from their lives.
And the mechanism here is so important. This is one of the key insights. They're not just, handing over a briefcase full of cash in some doze alley.
No, it's far more sophisticated than that.
So much more. They structure it as a completely legitimate business expense, this consulting payout.
Right.
It's not about avoiding a messy chat. It's about making a moral crime legally palatable, maybe even tax deductible. The sources frame this as their institutional method for processing problems. They turn people into a line item.
That distinction, a bribe versus a business expense, that's everything, isn't it? It shows how they use the system itself as a kind of shield.
It's their armor.
They can't just buy her silence. They have to buy it cleanly. And that structure, it just immediately throws Leah Ramos into this intense psychological and ethical vice.
Exactly. When you really analyze her position, you see the payment isn't just money, it's destabilizing.
Oh, completely.
And the sources are really clear on this. This isn't about simple greed on her part. She's forced into this awful tug of war between dignity and opportunity.
Yeah.
For the Hartwells, 10 million is nothing. It's disposable. But for Leah, the analysis suggests she sees it through a lens of survival.
Of course, it's generational opportunity.
Generational, the kind of opportunity she could never get otherwise. It's the ultimate financial trap.
And that's what makes her decision so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because the expectation is that you'd break.
Right.
Right. You take the money, you vanish, humiliated, but paid.
But she doesn't. The analysis shows she just refuses to be broken. Instead of accepting the silence they're trying to buy, she flips the entire script.
How so?
Well, she immediately understands the leverage they've just given her. By accepting this money, she's now technically part of their consulting arrangement.
Oh, wow. She's on the inside.
She's on the inside of their hypocrisy. She plans to use that payout not to disappear, but as the foundation for her own empowerment. She turns their weapon right back on them.
So she gets the money and the moral high ground.
If she can survive the fallout, yes.
Which brings us to the collateral damage in all this. The heir himself. He's basically a spectator in his own life story, trapped between these two massive forces.
Yeah, the analysis points out he's stuck choosing between inherited silence and love with consequences.
His money's the problem, and her lack of money was supposed to be the family's solution. Now, both of those things are just amplified.
It's such a pointed commentary. For the hyper-privileged, true connection isn't free. It comes at a cost. You either abandon your inheritance or you face exile.
And the family's trying to spare him that choice.
Exactly. They're trying to solve his problem by just making the woman disappear, preserving his spot in the dynasty without him having to make any real sacrifice.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for me. Let's move past the plot mechanics and look at why this kind of story feels so resonant right now. The source material actually frames this whole scenario as a Netflix-ready prestige drama. They even give it a title, The Offer.
And that connects directly to this cultural moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We are fascinated by these stories of extreme wealth and moral decay.
Absolutely.
If you look at the bigger picture, the sources intend this to be a really sharp critique of how wealth is used systemically as a tool of oppression. The themes are just so clear. Power versus autonomy, financial morality, generational control.
When you lay it out like that, The Hartwells almost seem more insidious than a family like the Roys in Succession.
How do you mean?
Well, the Rays deal in public spectacle. It's all chaos and loud transactions. The Hartwells, based on this analysis, they deal in quiet surgical extraction. They use corporate language to erase people.
It's colder.
It's colder, it's sleeker, and yeah, in a way, it's much more terrifying.
Precisely. And the whole atmosphere described in the sources supports that sinister, subtle feeling. It's all opulent visuals paired with this tense, intimate drama.
Right.
And it has this sharp, satirical undercurrent, and I think this is key, a sleek, corporate noir atmosphere. This is not a messy shouting match. It's a cold, calculated game of chess played in private rooms.
Where every move is about minimizing liability.
Legal and public.
That whole aesthetic, it just reinforces the main theme, right? This is class warfare, just dressed up in designer clothes.
100%. The central thesis, according to the analysis, is that this story explores class warfare, modern romance, and the price of freedom in a world where every human emotion can be itemized.
And the moment they stick a $10 million price tag on her dignity, they've completed that itemization.
And that's why this whole thing feels so familiar to us. It taps into so many things we've seen. It has the family ruthlessness of Succession, for sure. But it also has that ethical spiral from something like Indecent Proposal. You know, what's the price for your soul? And you mix that with the psychological manipulation you find in true crime stories like Dirty John.
It's playing on our collective anxiety about what happens when money isn't just power, but total legal control.
So let's bring that tension to life. Let's really dissect that initial confrontation that the source material details so vividly. The cold open of the story.
Okay.
The scene is meticulously set, a private dining room, dim lighting, and wealth that the text describes as obscene everywhere you look.
So the setting itself is a power play.
It's designed to crush you before a single word is spoken.
And the character intros, they immediately establish the stakes. Marcus Hartwell, the patriarch. The analysis is just so blunt about him. He is money carved into human form.
Oh, what a phrase.
It tells you everything. He has no identity outside of his capital.
And then there's his wife, Elena Hartwell, defined as elegance with teeth.
Right. She's the enforcer.
The sharp-controlled operator. They are this perfectly balanced, formidable unit designed to execute this transaction with just cold efficiency.
Their posture, their presence, it's all part of the intimidation.
And then Leah Ramos walks in, and her description is so critical. She enters composed, too composed.
She's signaling right away, I'm not scared.
Exactly. The source defines her as sharp, self-made, allergic to pretense. She's the grit in their polished machine. She immediately upsets the power dynamic just by refusing to show fear.
And then the negotiation begins.
And it's shockingly abrupt. Marcus slides a dossier across the table. Her life, to summarize on paper, he's not interested in small talk.
And when Leah, refusing to be passive, asks what the job description is, Elena answers.
It's so interesting that Marcus, the host, he leaves the dirty work, the actual emotional communication, to his wife.
While he just handles the numbers.
Right. And Elena's reply is just devastating. You disappear. Quietly. Permanently. It's stated like a business directive.
An extraction.
A pure extraction. And Marcus sums up their entire view of his son's feelings with this one utterly dismissive line. He's in love. That makes people stupid.
So to him, emotion is just a liability.
A toxic liability that has to be paid for and then incinerated. That single line shows that the Hartwells see their own bloodline as fragile, something easily corrupted by, genuine human feeling.
But the crucial shift, the whole pivot of the story, happens in this tiny silent moment. Leah opens the folder.
With her whole life inside?
Her history, her weaknesses, her photo, and the source material zooms in on her reaction. A tiny private smile.
I love that detail. It's the moment she gets it. She understands the nature of the trap and the size of her opportunity.
What do you think that smile signals?
I think it's two things. First, she recognizes they did their homework, so they respect her as a real threat. And second, she understands the immense value of the leverage they are literally handing to her.
And her key line captures that perfectly.
It does. The analysis quotes it. I used to imagine what I'd do with money like this, but I never imagined you'd be the ones handing it to me.
It just validated her ambition.
They validated her ambition and handed her the exact resources she needs to fight them. It's brilliant.
So she doesn't just say yes or no. Instead, she delivers this one statement that completely flips the power dynamic. She leaves them with this ambiguity and a threat.
I'm not saying no. I'm saying you don't understand what you're buying.
Just shilling.
It's brilliant, isn't it? She's telling them that 10 million is their calculation for her silence, but she knows her real value is much higher.
Or that her future actions can't be bought for a fixed price.
Exactly. She's implying they're buying a liability, not a resolution. They're buying her complicity, maybe, but not her subservience.
And the scene closes with that cold realization just dawning on the family. Elena, the woman of fierce control, finally breaks.
The text says she exhales like she's been punched.
Wow. And then she delivers the line that sets up the rest of the entire story. She's going to be a problem.
And there it is. The Hartwells have just taken a human problem and turned it into a financial foe armed with their own money.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for us? This whole deep dive, it shows this incredible scenario where Leah Ramos takes the very structure designed to crush her
The $10 million payout.
and turns it into a weapon against the system that created it. It's this perfect illustration of the collision between authentic human connection and a financial elite that believes they can just itemize and suppress any threat.
It's a powerful story about how love and autonomy can, challenge the very foundations of inherited power.
It really is.
And that leads to the final provocative thought that the source material leaves us with. If the ultimate choice for the Hartwell heir is between his dynastic future and Leah, what does that mean for our society? When the choice for the privileged isn't between right and wrong, but between inherited silence and love with consequences.
That's a heavy question.
It suggests that for the ultra-wealthy, maybe the only truly uncontrollable, dangerous force left in the world is genuine human connection. Because unlike a business problem, you can't make love tax deductible.